Hi, we are here to present our mini project number two, Tracking News in South Africa, presented by myself, Tierra Gillespie, along with my colleagues, Haley Jackson, Doug Turner, and Whitney Moore. The first article is from the U.S. Department of State Travel Advisories for South Africa. The author is the U.S. Department of State, and then the source is the Travel Advisory, Africa. The summary overview: South Africa is deemed a level 3 on the travel advisory, which is which means it is not advised that you travel there at all, for multiple reasons, from COVID to safety, from personal crimes and robberies and stuff like that. And then the crime rate is very high there, including violent crimes from armed robbery, rape, carjackings to smash and grab attacks. So it is not highly advised that you go there. If you do go there, make sure you are there with someone that knows the area well. And for business, South Africa might be a great place to start your business, but you have to be cautious of anything that you get into during the daytime and at night because no one is safe. Extremists with close ties to big terrorist groups such as Al Qaeda and ISIS have deemed South Africa a hub for recruitment of new members, from young women and boys to fi- to older people also. And then the financial side of it, it is a just a good place to be crime group for big crime groups. So that also is a scare for people's security and safety as well. Lessons learned: South Africa is a very dangerous place to visit where foreign people run the risk of being picked up and taken away. From the advisory, it described examples of foreigners coming into the country at the airport and being picked up right outside, waiting for their cabs. Or also, they were talking about how no one is safe, even for their government people, their people in the legislation. They even get robbed or are in carjackings and smash and grab. So it doesn't matter who you are not safe. So bringing a business there can be risky, but for the right people, you will be successful. You just have to be very cautious. And then South Africa, the country, is also terribly placed. If extremist groups feel comfortable enough to settle there and find their recruits, um, if you're living in a country and you're and terrorist groups feel comfortable enough to come there and say that this is where I want to be able to recruit for my organization, then you might need to double think uh, where you are living and also where you're trying to bring a business to as well. South Africa, also like the US, have protests. They didn't talk about how or what the protests are about, but They did say that they turn violent, from people setting cars on fire to little small businesses on fire and having big old trashes with fire in the middle of the street. So it's definitely very dangerous and something to look out for when you do travel to South Africa. Be very cautious of your surroundings, no matter if it's day or night. Just make sure you are safe for business wise and personally. Next, I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Whitney.
Thank you, Tiara. Exporting to South Africa, written by the International Trade Administration. The International Trade Administration strengthens competition, promotes trade and investment, and ensures fair trade through trade law and agreements. South Africa is the largest economy on the African continent and also called Rainbow Nation. It's called Rainbow Nation because of the various races that live there. It's home to 54 million people, and it consists of 11 different languages, English being the main one. South Africa's business climate grows about 2% a year. This is an estimate of buying power, political attitudes towards business, and the economic environment. It's growing so slowly because of what Tierra was saying. Is you have to be very cautious when traveling to South Africa. South Africa is the largest producer in platinum, vanadium, chromium, and manganese. By volume, it's the United States' third largest trading partner. The United States Commercial Services has 3 different locations throughout South Africa to help U.S. businesses with market research, strategy, and finding customers. The United States Commercial Services is the promotional arm of the International Trade Administration. There's market opportunity in solar power, renewable energy, healthcare, telecommunications, and infrastructure. There is currently about 600 businesses, American businesses, currently doing business in South Africa. The South African market is the easiest market to get into because they're the most advanced economy in South Africa. Johannesburg being the largest. Barriers to entry include not knowing their language, not having a long-term business plan, and not building customer loyalty. When businesses usually go do business in South Africa, they're only there for a short period of time to make a quick buck, and then they leave. With this consistently happening, it's very hard for new businesses to come to South Africa and find customers. How can I implement this in my professional life? I can implement this by encouraging the company I work for to build customer loyalty with customers by building a relationship first. It's very important to get your customers to trust you and to know that you're there for the long term. I will now pass it on to my colleagues.
In this article, it is talking about how this company is able to recycle used tires and turn them into different products from, for example, being flooring for different buildings, houses, and things like that. Dr. Maren Zarabini, CEO of Van Dyke Flooring Company and the Mate Group, the manufacturer, wanted to help the environment by reducing, reusing, and recycling. So in 2014, 2015, they realized they could bring this idea to life by reusing the waste tires that are left all around Africa, as they talked about in the article. And when they reuse the tires, they are able to break down the tires and turn them into flooring for their company. When looking at the local market, they realized that there are few suppliers, so they had to import waste tires from France. In the article, when they were talking about finding suppliers locally, they're talking about how when they were asking or looking around for different suppliers, either different places didn't have enough supplies to give, or they did not want to work with them. The Dr. Zarabini failed to explain why they didn't want to work with them, but he did say that they did decide on importing tires from France to help start up their company and get it on its way. Now to my colleague Kaylee to talk about the lessons learned in the article.
The lessons that I learned from this article were that Dr. Zarabini and his company ran into some problems with legislation when trying to establish the recycling company and had to get a waste management license. For their company, they focused on a specific type of tire called radio truck tires because they have a high rubber and steel content and a low fiber content. They're able to use 99% of the tire in the breakdown process and are also able to decrease greenhouse effect by more than 70% since its starting.
How can I implement this in my professional life? It's an excellent marketing idea to help the environment by reusing, reducing, and recycling. I can encourage my company that I work for to reuse, reduce, and recycle waste products, and also inform customers uh, or clients that we are reducing, reusing, and recycling to help the environment. This marketing strategy makes your customers more likely to buy your product because they also feel like they're helping the environment. Passing it on to my colleague, Haley.
Thank you, Whitney. My article is titled A Solar Powered Meerkat is Protecting South Africa's Rhinos. The author is Stephanie Bailey and Ed Scott Clark, and my source is from CNN Marketplace Africa. And this article is mainly about a business, which is the Kruger National Park, and them zeroing in on a big issue that's causing their business to lose money. And that issue is rhinos being poached. And they basically come up with a solution to fix that. And that's called the meerkat, which I'll explain below what that is. It is a 12-foot tall solar powered system called Postcode Meerkat, and it's helping protect the rhinos of South Africa's biggest national park, which is Kruger. It can distinguish between human and animal movement and includes an infrared sensor to spot poachers at night. And one of the main reasons why rhinos are being killed is because rhino horns, they're prized in some Asian countries as a sign of wealth and mistakenly believed to have medicinal properties. And so poaching to meet consumer demand means Black rhinos are critically endangered and white rhinos are classified as near threatened. And that's important because rhinos are part of the big five safari animals, and they draw in tourists from all over the world into the park so they can see them. And what I learned from this article was that 421 rhinos were killed in 2018 at Kruger. And after the first 21 months of using the meerkat, poaching numbers decreased by 80% in the areas where it was deployed. And this is really good that their solution actually worked. In 2018, 15 million people visited South Africa, spending around $8 billion. Kruger received an estimated 1.8 million visitors in the 2016 to 2017 fiscal year. So you can already see that national parks are a big thing in South Africa, and it actually attracts a lot of tourists, which helps them make money. It's good for the economy. And national parks are a big revenue generator for South Africa. And without rhinos, it would negatively affect the communities around them and their economy. And also, with them even saving the rhinos' lives, that's a big deal too. They're showing that they really care about their animals that are in their national park. And what I can how I can apply this to my professional life is with me owning a business or a company, I expect myself to find the issue that is basically making my company lose money. And I expect myself to find a solution in order to fix this. And now I'm going to pass this on to my colleague, Doug.
So thank you again. So thank you. My article is gonna be based off of South Africa. Old Mutual sees stronger rand lifting green energy. My author is David Whitehurst. The source came from Rand Lifting, South Africa. My reviews: a stronger rand will increase the purchasing power of renewable energy providers who source components from China. People like Old Mutual. Investments management of Old Mutual Alternative Investments wants to fund South Africa's renewable energy to outlook the stronger rand of improvement sectors prospects. So what they're doing is just making solar panels and investment into South Africa. Old Mutual is no longer it's not only just funding South Africa, but also giving them local jobs and opportunities. And what I learned from that was South Africa will use new source of renewable energy to power their communities and have more opportunities for the locals, where they're getting powered by solar panels. And not only that, but they're also learning how to use them and how to construct with them. This new energy resource, the new This new energy source and stronger rand will not only just help the country with a better source of energy, but will also help the people financially. So they're also building up their rand, which is their type of currency. 60 cents of the rand is equal to $1 into America. So they're trying to also build that up. The South African communities are getting more jobs and deals that renewable. Oh my goodness. The South African communities are getting more jobs that deals with renewable energy, which will help develop the country. So they're also helping power up their country, while also not only that, they also might pave the way for the whole continent to start using more of solar energy to have a better and cheaper way of just using energy as it is. So now we're going to show you the references.
And that concludes our project for mini project 2. Thank you.